Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching our latest video. This will be done by Jerry Feliz and it is full keyboard access. Enjoy.
We're going to start with going into settings, okay? I'm going to click on that. And what I'm going to do is go to accessibility. And this is on my left column here. I'm on my left column here. And I'm going to just gently scroll up. I'm going to just scroll up in settings. And you can arrow down as well if you are using your keyboard. I'm just using my pointer because I have a touchpad for my iPad, which can come in handy. Now here's VoiceOver. We have Zoom, cover text, display and text size, and we're going to get to keyboard. Where it says keyboards, we're going to enable full keyboard access. So if you do not have that enabled, I would recommend that you do that now. I'm going to gear it more towards keyboards today. So now when you enable your full keyboard access, you can also customize some settings. I'm going to scroll up and skip the sticky keys piece. FYI, if you don't have this disabled, it does affect your virtual keyboard. So you want to do that particularly for your iPhone because it allows you to see your letters capitalized when typing versus having them lowercase. And all that really means is that the letters look bigger. It doesn't mean that the caps lock is just enabled, which helps in terms of improving visibility. Hit next, okay? So I'm gonna go back just to show you what I did. This is full keyboard access, and then you're gonna click on that arrow here, and then we're going to do this, full keyboard access. These are a bunch of little helpful key commands, and we'll cover those. Tab H to get home, move forward, tab, move between, shift tab. Move backward, not between. Shift tab, that takes you backward. To activate spacebar, to go home, function H. So if you have a Bluetooth keyboard, typically your function keys go like this: spacebar, command, option, control, and function. Sometimes it's, depending on the keyboard, spacebar, command, option, function, then control. So if you have the K, I think 480, it goes like this: spacebar, command, option, function, and control. I wish it wasn't like that, but it is. Any standard Apple keyboard, spacebar, command, option, control, function. To go home, you would press function and H. To use the app switcher, it's function and up arrow. If I did that right now, if it's a demo, I'm going to hit function up arrow, and it worked. Okay. And then I could just simply tab, I'm hitting the tab key, and it's taking me to the next elements, or I can arrow right or down, and it would move me down. Okay, just gonna get back here quickly. Okay, and I'm gonna cover this as we go along, but I'm just reading this list, and this list is available to you when you're in this particular setting. It's also available to you when I open the help menu later. To use the app switcher, function up arrow. To use the control center, function C. To use the notification center, function N. And again, all I'm doing is reading these things to you. You don't have to memorize any of this stuff. It's there for you. It's just so you know that it's there. I'm not going to cover making commands today, but commands are there. Appearance. So let's do appearance. Okay. Auto hide 15 seconds. I think that's fine. Unless you want to auto hide for a lesser time. So increase size. So I click that because bigger is better or easier to see. High contrast is also helpful. So I enable that. And then you can change the color of the focus indicator box. What's the focus indicator box? So as I'm tabbing, you see that box moving there? That's our focus indicator box. And there you go. There it is. Okay. And now I can hit tab one more time. It takes me back to the previous grouping. So this would be like, oh no, not the previous grouping. Do that again. It would take me to this grouping here. Okay. So now to access or interact with this grouping, I would press my down arrow button and it starts to move me down this group. And so what do I mean by group? All of this information here, commands, auto hide, high contrast, all this is like a grouping, okay? So technically you could call it tab groups. So I want to be careful how I use that terminology because it could mean something else in a different context. All right, so I'm just introducing that concept though, because it'll come up. So color is white, so let's change the color. All right. So let's see what we can do here. So let's go for a blue. And let's see how that looks. So now I'm gonna tab. And didn't change. So let me, oh yeah, it did change. It did change.
It did.
It did change. Yep. So it depends if you like this or you like more of the transparent look. This is more visible or more apparent. So you may like this or not. Don't know. That's your, of course, your preference. I'm gonna keep arrowing down so we can see it move. And that's what it would look like. Okay.
Oh, it colors the box, the whole box.
Right, it shades the box.
Yep. All right. So I actually prefer no shade. So I'm gonna go back to that. Because this reminds me of how like VoiceOver looks when I use it. There's actually no, sorry about that. All right, so let's go to white. And that's how that box would then appear. Okay, and you have a lot of options there. All right, and again, that's your focus indicator box, or you can call it your highlight, whatever whatever your fancy is. All right, so I'm gonna go back, and I think we're all set for that. So again, accessibility, full keyboard access. And we're gonna do a quick exercise here. And I would recommend you do this exercise too, just as a way to get familiar with the navigation piece. All right. Okay. So concepts to also be thinking about. So when I tab on something, let's see. So tab, get to messages. Okay. That item that I just tabbed on is the message app on the bottom left-hand corner. So the message app is focusable, okay? And it's highlighted or selected. So whichever term you want to use, it's focusable and it's highlighted. Now, if I want to activate that, I could just hit the space bar and theoretically it should work. So now just doing this exercise, we can tab to different elements on the screen. So I'm just going to zoom in and start tabbing. Okay, once you tab to a certain group, then to interact with that group, you can just simply use your arrow keys at that point, and it'll allow you to interact with that group. So widget is different than an app. The functionality is a little different because you can do this to a widget. I'm just swiping up on the widget and it changes to different widgets, versus an app. All you can do is enter the app. And you can also do, trying to think, you can use that context menu with the apps too. So, but I won't cover that. So I'm gonna just tap again, and it gets me to this particular area. And then if I wanna navigate this, I would use my arrow keys. So one way to think about this is you tab to the group, and then you interact with the group by using your arrow keys. So for example, if I hit, I'm in this group here of apps. And then if I want to move to a different group area, like this area here is like how you change the pages. If I tab again, and that moves me there to the app library. And then I'll just hit function H to get me back home. All right. More familiar with some of the keys, we can do a tab H. Tab H brings up this menu here. And let's kind of look at some of the settings here in this list. So again, it's tab H opens and closes help. Move forward, tab, move backward, shift tab, move up arrow, down arrow, etc. and etc. Activate spacebar, function H is for home. Okay, movement, this is pretty self-explanatory, so I'm not going to cover that. And then move to the end is tab right arrow. That is kind of helpful. So if I wanted to move to the end of this, I'll do that, tab right arrow. Actually, it didn't move me. It moved me on the page, but not on this list. All right, so it does work. All right.
So those are similar to Microsoft Word gestures and Excel gestures.
Yeah, exactly. They're similar. All right. So now we have find, which is a helpful tool. You can use tab F. So your modifier key is your physical tab key on your keyboard. I'm using tab a lot. So just keep in mind, tab has different meanings depending on the action you're trying to perform or the context. In this context, I'm just referring to tab as the physical modifier key on your physical keyboard, similar to like control or command. But interactions? So how do we interact with these things? Or an interaction, for example, would be you tab to an app and then you hit the space bar. That space bar would activate it. That's an interaction. Go back, tab B will go from the first page, from the second page to the first page, and from the third page to the second page. Or think about hitting your back button. That would accomplish the same task. Contextual menu, tab M. I'm going to show how that works because it probably makes more sense to do that. And I have to hit tab H to exit this menu. I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to tab to an app. All right, and now I'm going to hit tab M on this app. Well, actually, let me arrow right to get to Safari, and let's hit tab M. And this brings up this contextual menu, which gives you multiple options. I can remove the app, edit home, show all windows, show reading list, show bookmarks, new private window, new tab. Okay, so it's giving me a bunch of options. All right, let's try a different one. Let me see, and if I hit, so I'm going to hit tab H, function H to get out of there. So where your function H or command H functions as like your escape key, or it takes you back home. And what I always say, home is the safest place to be because you can reorient yourself with everything, okay? So how do you do that? Let's say, for example, if you are not using a physical keyboard. All right, so I'm going to zoom in again. And the way you get that contextual menu up is you press down and hold on the app, and then it brings that up. And if you want to delete an app, you just keep holding, and then you would hit that minus sign there, and then it would delete the app. So for example, if I tap on that minus thing here, because I've been holding it down, then it'll bring me this option here. It says remove from home screen. I don't want to do that. I'm just going to hit cancel. And then I could either swipe up or hit the home button or hit function H to exit out of that mode. I hit function H again, and then it did it. Okay, so it's a mode. All right, like so one of the ways that 3D Touch or that contextual menu is helpful. For example, let's say you want to share an app with a friend that you like, an app that you like. Tab M. And then if I want to share the app, this is how I can do it. If I wanted to share it with a friend, I would hit spacebar on the share app, and then I can just email or text my friend and send them this particular app. And it looks like this, right? So it will just send the app, and the person could just tap on that and download it themselves. So I'm going to go back to what I was doing, and I'm going to hit Command H, and I'm going to hit Command and Tab H and get back to this really helpful menu. All right, and then we're going to just scroll. So movement, we don't need to cover. And we left off on that. Interactions are good. Spacebar, go back. We did that. Contextual menu, we just did that. Actions, this is good. Sorry, I got confused. Function of arrow. Now, to perform an action on it, right? Let's see. Let's perform an action on it. On my notes. Tab Z. There we go. So it's like that context menu. I can close settings or drag. I'm just going to close settings because that's the easier action to perform. And I hit spacebar, and it closed my settings. But the larger concept is that you can do other things with that tab Z, right? There's more actions to perform, but that's how you would perform an action on an app, or an action on an element, or an action on a button. Okay, I'm gonna go back to tab H. Let's do tab H. All right. And here's that menu again. And its interactions is the group. And now we're exploring those options. And then we have another group, which is device. So if you want to go home, function H, app switcher, function up arrow, control center, function C, notification center, function N, dock, function A, app library, shift, function A, quick note, function Q, lock screen, tab L. FYI, to get to the address bar, it's Command L when you're exploring Safari. And it does work for VoiceOver. I know that was a question that happened last time, but it does. All right, you can restart your computer as well with the with Command Option Shift. It's all your keys, Shift and R. Okay, Control Option Command Shift R. All right, to activate Siri, it's function S. Accessibility shortcuts, it's tab X. Rotate device, I thought this was kind of interesting. So right now I'm in landscape. I thought this was pretty neat. So I'm gonna do a tab R. Hopefully it doesn't mess everything up. So there it goes. So now it's portrait mode, which I thought was pretty neat. All right, so now I'm gonna hit tab R again, and it brings me back here. I just thought that was kind of neat. All right. I'm gonna go back to this list and close out just by kind of going over this list and open it up to any questions if folks have it, okay? All right, so we got lock screen, restart, Siri, accessibility shortcuts, rotate device, analytics, which I didn't look at, and pass through, but it's something you can do. So You can like do a finger swipe down if you do control spacebar. So if I did that, tab H, it actually shows something happening on the screen. There's none of it's there. It is, and it actually did a 2-finger swipe down. Because if you do that, and it was control space. I mean that tab space. It actually did a gesture, which was interesting. All right. Anyway, I'll leave that alone. Okay, so that is sort of an introduction to full keyboard access on iPads.
For more information, contact Jerry Feliz, Access Technology Director, phone number 857-443-6636, email jfeliz@mapcommunity.org. Thank you so much for watching.